Module 14 Classification of Zoonotic Disease and Approaches to their Management. Classification of zoonotic disease and approaches to their management. Learning objective to learn about classification of zoonotic disease based on direction of spread, reservoir, life cycle, etiology, occupation, food product of animal origin, etc. Introduction. Beyond the fact that zoonosis infect both men and lower vertebrates, they are a biological heterogeneous group of infections. Consider an example to cystodal zoonosis, teniosis, and diphylidiosis. In teniosis genita infection, a vertebrate the cow fills approximately the same biological role as an intervertebrate. The filia does in diphyllidium caninum infection. Man's involvement in the two life cycle also is completely different. In the epidemiology of teniosis, man and the other vertebrae are both essential, while in diphylidiosis, man is participation is not required and human infection is sporadic and usually confined to one particular age group. Thus, T. saginata develops upon man for survival as a species while D. caninum does not. To create awareness among public regarding zoonosis, it is vital to classify zoonotic disease shared in nature between human being and animal. Classification of zoonosis based on nature of reservoir. Classification of zoonosis based on nature of reservoir. Anthropogenesis. Anthropogenesis, zoonotic disease primarily transmitted from the lower vertebrate animal to human being are called anthropogenetic disease. Example: rabies, lyssavirus, anthrax, bacillus anthracis, brucellosis, Malta fever, Brucella abortus, undulate fever or Mediterranean fever, Brucella mediterranean. Animal to human. Direction of spread of anthropogenetic disease. Zooanthropogenesis. Zooanthropogenesis, zoonotic disease transmitted from human being to the lower vertebrate animal are called zooanthropogenetic disease. Example: amoebiasis and amoeba histolytica, diphtheria infection, human to animal. Amphigenosis. Amphigenosis, zoonotic disease which may be transmitted in either direction, human being to animal or animal to human being, called amphigenotic disease. Example: staphylococcal infection, streptococcal infection. दोनों तरफ. Classification of zoonosis based on epidemiological feature, life cycle, maintenance, mode of transmission. Classification of zoonosis based on epidemiological feature, life cycle, maintenance, or mode of transmission. Direct zoonosis, zoonotic disease transmitted directly from the infected to the susceptible host by contact, vehicle, or mechanical by a vector without undergoing any development or propagation in the course of transmission are classified under direct zoonosis. A zoonotic pathogen require only single vertebrate host species for their completion of life cycle. Example: bovine and ovine, brucellosis by contact, anthrax by contact and touch, rabies by bite, ringworm by touch, salmonellosis by vehicle. Animal to human. Direct zoonosis can be any one of the following type: direct anthropogenesis, direct zooanthropogenesis, direct amphigenosis, direct anthropogenesis. The lower vertebrate, domestic and wild animal are the reservoir host for many infectious zoonotic pathogens, and these reservoirs transmit infection to the human being by accidental exposure or direct contact with infected population or contaminated material. Example: rabies, brucella. Direct zooanthropogenesis. Direct zooanthropogenesis Zoonotic disease transmitted from human being to the lower vertebrate animal by direct contact with infected person or contaminated material. Example: diphtheria, tuberculosis. Direct amphigonosis, zoonotic disease maintained in nature, either in animal population or in human population, are transmitted in both directions by direct contact with infected population or contaminated material. Example: streptococcus, staphylococcus. Cyclogenosis. Cyclogenosis. The disease requires more than one vertebrate host to complete the life cycle, but invertebrate host is not involved. Depending upon the involvement of human being, it may be obligatory cyclogenosis or non-obligatory cyclogenosis. Example: Japanese encephalitis, flavivirus of family Flaviviridae, hydatidosis, bovine cysticercosis, trypanosomosis, Tisicibone, Nairobi sheep disease, Bunaviridi, leishmaniasis. Obligatory cyclogenosis. In obligatory cyclogenosis agent require essentially a human being for completion of their life cycle. Example: Teniasis neta and Tenia, Solium, measly beef and measly pork. D. B. Non-obligatory cyclogenosis. Non-obligatory cyclogenosis. In non-obligatory cyclogenosis, agent require man's involvement as accidental or non-essential for completion of their life cycle. Example: hydatidosis, Echinococcus granulosus. Metagenesis. 3. Metagenesis. Though disease that are transmitted by the invertebrate host biological vector in which the causative agent multiply, propagative, or development, or both. Cyclopropagative. It requires both vertebrate and invertebrate host for their completion of life cycle. Example: arboreal infection, schistosomiasis, bacilliosis, saprometagenesis, plague, trypanosomiasis, filariasis, trichinella spiralis. Depending upon the number of hosts required for the completion of life cycle, there are four subclass of metagenesis. Metagenesis subtype first, metagenesis subtype second, third, fourth. Class: vertebrate, invertebrate. Example: class second 1 invertebrate, 2 paragonimiosis, third 2 1 4. Metagenesis subtype first. It requires one vertebrate and one invertebrate host for the complete of an etiology life cycle. Example: yellow fever, in which junction cycle of jungle cycle or salviatic cycle and urban cycle require a monkey or a man and a mosquito Aedes aegypti. B. Metagenesis subtype second. Metagenesis subtype second. It requires one vertebrate and two invertebrate hosts for the completion of an etiology life cycle. Example: paragonimiosis. Metagenesis type 3. It requires two vertebrate and one invertebrate host for the complete of an etiology life cycle. Example: eastern equine encephalitis. D. Metagenesis subtype 4. It is the type of transovarian life cycle of zoonotic pathogen intake and transmission to human being. Example: tick-borne encephalitis. Sporogenesis. 4th. Saprogenosis. The disease which required a non-animal object like soil, plant, organ matter, water, food, etc. to serve as a true reservoir of infection or as site for an essential phase of development. The etiological agent may develop histoplasmosis or propagate Ancylostoma braziliensis or develop an propagate cyclopropagative fasciolosis in the inanimate fomite object. The agent can occur in both saprophytic and parasitic phase in cycloter. Example: visceral larva migraine, cutaneous larva migraine, fasciolosis, mycosis of various form, botulism, coccidiomycosis, histoplasmosis, etc. Based on the direction of spread, it may be classified into three subclasses such as saproanthropogenesis, saproamphigenesis, saprometaanthropogenesis. Saproanthropogenesis. Saproanthropogenesis. Zoonotic infections are normally transmitted between lower vertebrate and fomites, and involvement of human population is only accidental. Example: erysipeloids. Saproamphigenesis. Saproamphigenesis. Man and lower vertebrate are equal susceptible host, and infection can persist in the absence of one or another host. Example: histoplasmosis. Saprometa anthropozoonosis. Saprometa anthropozoonosis. It requires both non-animate invertebrate host and vertebrate host in its life cycle. Example: fasciolosis. Classification of zoonosis based on animal involvement. Classification of zoonosis based on animal involvement. Wild animal zoonosis, infectious transmitted from wild animal like elephant, non-human primate, fox, wild boar to human being. Example: Cassano, forest disease, KFD, rabies. Pet animal zoonosis, infectious transmitted from pet animal like dog, cat, lovebird to human being. Example: toxoplasmosis, ringworm infection, psittacosis, ornithoryncosis. Lab animal zoonosis, infection transmitted from lab animal like guinea pig, rat, mice, rabbit to human being. Example: lymphocytic choriomeningitis. Fish-borne zoonosis, infection transmitted from fish and proceed fish product to human being. Example: salmon poison, pernicious anemia. Classification of zoonosis based on physician condition. Classification of zoonosis based on physical condition. Urban zoonosis, infection which are commonly prevalent in urban area and transmitted from animal to human being. Example: rabies, aviary infection, anthrax, leptospirosis, tuberculosis. Rural zoonosis, infection which are commonly prevalent in rural area and transmitted from animal to human being. Example: brucellosis, schistosomiasis, rabies, worm infections. Occupational zoonosis, infection which are transmitted from animal to human being by nature of their occupation. Example: wood shotter disease, sugarcane workers disease, rice field worker disease. Classification of zoonosis based on type of transmission. Classification of zoonosis based on type of transmission. Skin, hide and hair borne zoonosis, infections which are transmitted by contact with skin, hide and hair or infected animal to human being. Example: anthrax. Meat-borne zoonosis, infection which are transmitted by contact or consumption of meat and meat product from infected animal to human being. Example: tuberculosis, trichinellosis, leptospirosis. Milk-borne zoonosis, infection which are transmitted through consumption of milk and milk product from infected animal to human being. Example: tuberculosis, brucellosis, campylobacteriosis. Foodborne zoonosis, infection which are transmitted through consumption of food of animal origin or food of plant origin contaminated with the secretion and or excretion of infected animal to human being. Example: salmonellosis, staphylococcus, colibacillosis, anthrax. Vector-borne zoonosis, mechanical. Infectious pathogens are carried mechanically by invertebrate host and transmitted to the human being. Example: anthrax, colibacillosis. Biological infectious pathogen undergoes some biological transformation before infecting the human. Developmental. If essential development of the agent take place in or one the vector. Example is dirophilaria immitis in mosquito. Propagative if the agent multiply in the vector before being injected into the host. Example are plague, yellow fever, cyclopropagative if the agent undergo development and multiplication in the vector before being injected into the host. Example is Trypanosoma cruzi in bug. Transovarian the infection may be transmitted in vector vertically from one generation to the next generation before being injected into the host. Example Rift Valley fever, West Nile fever, Russia spring summer encephalitis. Transstadial the infections may be transmitted in vector from stage to stage before being injected into the host. Classification of zoonosis based on etiology. Viral zoonosis, transmission of viral disease from animal to human being. Example rabies, milk nodules, chronic disease, viral conjunctivitis, etc. Bacterial zoonosis, transmission of bacterial disease from animal to human being. Example anthrax, tuberculosis, brucellosis. Parasitic zoonosis, transmission of parasitic disease from animal to human being. Example trichinellosis, visceral larva migrant, cutaneous larva migrant, hydatidosis. Mycotic or fungal zoonosis, transmission of fungal disease from animal to human being. Example tinea or ringworm infection, aspergillosis. Rickettsia zoonosis, transmission of rickettsial disease from animal to human being. Example Q fever epidemic, typhus, scrub typhus, Rocky Mountain spotted fever. Protozoan zoonosis, transmission of protozoal disease from animal to human being. Example trypanosomiasis, leishmaniasis. Thank you.